If you've ever laid in bed scrolling TikTok while also thinking, one day I'll be rich and successful, this video is for you because, let's be real, being ambitious but lazy is one of the weirdest combos ever. It's like saying you want six-pack abs but also door-dashing bubble tea at 2 a.m. I know because I used to be that guy. I'd make these massive plans in my head, but when it came time to actually do them, suddenly I needed to reorganize my sock drawer or watch just one more YouTube video. But then I stumbled on a set of habits that flipped things for me. And before you roll your eyes, no, this isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. or running ultramarathons. This is about realistic, science-backed tricks that let lazy people like us still get what we want in life. So if you've got ambition but zero motivation, pay attention. Because once you understand these steps, you'll never look at laziness the same way again. But before we get into the hacks, we've got to start with the biggest myth about laziness. Most people who label themselves lazy aren't actually lazy. They're just overwhelmed, confused, or running on autopilot. A confused brain does what it does best: nothing. Think about it. If you sit down at your desk and you've got 10 different things screaming for your attention, your brain taps out. That's why the first step is brain dumping everything in your head onto paper. Don't judge it, don't organize it, just throw it all out there. Once it's on paper, group the similar things together. Phone calls in one pile, errands in another, creative stuff in its own lane. Then number them by priority. And here's the kicker: delete anything that isn't a heck yes. Because if it's a meh, it's just stealing energy from the things that actually matter. And once you finally clear the mental clutter, something funny happens. You don't feel lazy anymore. You feel lighter. And that's when the next problem kicks in: becoming the kind of person who actually follows through. Here's a truth bomb. You don't act according to your goals. You act according to your identity. If you see yourself as the kind of person who never finishes anything, guess what? You won't finish anything. But if you start shifting your identity, even in tiny ways, you change the game. Example: I once wrote on a sticky note, "I am the type of person who finishes what I start." Sounds cheesy, right? But when you repeat that daily and back it with small wins, it stops being cheesy and starts being who you are. It's like putting on a costume until one day you realize it's not a costume anymore. You are that character. Lazy you becomes disciplined you without forcing it. But identity alone won't save you if your environment is working against you. And that's where things get interesting. Imagine being on a diet but living inside a donut factory. That's basically what most of us do with our environment. We try to willpower our way through temptation instead of just making it easier to win. Lazy people don't need more discipline, they need fewer dragons to fight. Delete the junk food from your pantry. Lay your workout clothes on the floor so you literally trip over them in the morning. Set your desk up so distractions are impossible. Then there's your social environment. If your friends clown on you for trying to improve, that's not just banter, it's sabotage. Upgrade who you hang out with, even if that just means changing the podcasts you listen to or curating your feed. And finally, your internal environment, your own thoughts. If you wake up every day thinking, "I'm doomed, I'll never change," congratulations, you've hypnotized yourself into staying stuck. Shift your self-talk, even if it feels fake at first. Because your world doesn't change until your words do. And once your environment is locked in, you'll notice something powerful. Suddenly, you've got energy you didn't think you had. Which brings us to the next step. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Laziness isn't a lack of effort. It's usually a lack of energy. Try being productive on 3 hours of sleep and a McDonald's diet. You'll feel like your brain is buffering all day. There are 3 energy hacks that work every time. Number 1, exhaust the body, calm the mind. Do a short workout, even just push-ups. Movement creates energy. Number 2, fuel like an athlete. Track your nutrition. If you're running on sugar and caffeine alone, of course you crash. Number 3, sleep like it's your job. No sleep, no progress. Period. And the funny part? As your energy goes up, your laziness goes down. You realize most of the time you weren't lazy, you were just running on empty. But energy only matters if you know how to channel it, which is why the next step is all about momentum. Getting started is the hardest part. Planes burn the most fuel during takeoff. Your life works the same way. That's why I always recommend starting with easy wins. Make your bed, drink water, answer one email. Each small win creates a domino effect. Momentum stacks. The trick is not letting one bad moment snowball into a bad day. Ate junk food for lunch? Cool. Reset with a salad at dinner. Don't turn one slip-up into a Netflix and chips marathon. The goal isn't perfection, it's streaks. 7 days in a row of small wins is more powerful than one perfect day followed by 6 lazy ones. But what if even momentum isn't enough? That's when you need to raise the stakes. Humans will do more to avoid pain than to chase pleasure. That's why you can say you want abs, but it's only when you've got a wedding or a reunion coming up that you suddenly find the discipline. So here's the hack. Create stakes. Tell your friends your goal. Put money on the line. One guy I know made a bet that if he didn't hit the gym 3 times a week, he'd have to donate $200 to a political group he despised. Guess what? He never missed the gym. The point is, make the cost of failure scarier than the effort of success. But even with stakes, laziness still sneaks in. And here's where most people screw up. They fight procrastination instead of using it. This one sounds wild, but hear me out. What if you could turn your procrastination into profit? When I was avoiding homework as a kid, I'd mess around with design tools. Later, those skills turned into paid freelance gigs. Procrastination became practice. The trick is aligning your lazy habits with valuable outputs. Love scrolling social media? Start curating posts and grow an audience. Love gaming? Stream it. Can't stop doodling? That's literally how half the artists on Instagram make a living. When you redirect your procrastination into something useful, it doesn't just cure laziness, it makes progress feel fun. And fun is the ultimate cheat code for ambition. But there's still one big problem: overthinking. Which is why the next step might be the most important of all. Here's the brutal truth. Perfectionism is just laziness wearing a tuxedo. You don't want to start because you're afraid it won't be good enough. The solution? Take messy action. Send the email with typos. Post the video that's not perfect. Launch the idea before you've got all the answers. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. If you're embarrassed by your first attempt, congrats, you're doing it right. Because the faster you fail, the faster you learn, and the faster you win. But how do you actually trick yourself into taking that messy action? That's where the science comes in. And lastly, the real secret weapon. Your brain doesn't actually crave success, it craves dopamine. And social media hijack that system, which is why you can scroll for 3 hours but struggle to do 30 minutes of work. So here's the trick. Rewire your dopamine loop. Celebrate small wins. Check tasks off a list just for the satisfaction. Break big goals into tiny steps so your brain gets constant rewards. Gamify your life. Level up like it's a video game. Because when work feels rewarding in real time, laziness doesn't stand a chance. And now we're back to where we started. Lazy ambition isn't a curse, it's just a system problem. So if you're ambitious but lazy, here's the truth. You're not broken. You just need clarity, identity shifts, an environment that supports you, energy to fuel you, momentum to carry you, stakes to pressure you, procrastination you can profit from, and the courage to take messy action. Stack these and you stop being the ambitious but lazy type, you become the quietly unstoppable type. Subscribe, because ambition without action is just a daydream, but ambition with these tools? That's the difference between a lazy scroller and someone building the life they actually want.